Hey everybody, Tom and I are so happy to be with you guys today. Don't have a ton of updates for the Pulse, so this is the Office 365 Pulse. We're going to let you know what is new on the M365 roadmap. So what's changed on the roadmap, what's been added, maybe what's gone from rolling out to launch, different things like that, what's new in development. Don't have a ton of updates this week, so I'm going to let Tom get us started and kick us off, and we're going to just run through the 5 or 6 we have and just keep you guys as updated as we can on what we see changing on the roadmap. So take it away, Tom.
Sounds good. The first one we had on there was the LinkedIn information in Microsoft Apps, which they're starting to finally really take advantage of their LinkedIn acquisition the whole bit. And so this basically is going to give you the ability, if you like hover over names in Outlook or stuff like that, it will actually go out and grab the LinkedIn information too. So it kind of gives you a more fuller effect of who that person is, not just within your organization, but other things that may come to play there. Plus external people, I think, will do the same thing. I find that interesting. I also think that some organizations are going to freak out a little bit about that, but I think it's an interesting move forward, and I'm looking forward to see how that actually works and what it looks like when you're actually doing hoverovers to see that information.
Right. I was looking at a couple of my tenants, and it looks like one or two of the main ones I'm in actually have it turned off. We're not seeing that information, so it does come on by default.
Right.
Where there's two exceptions to it, though. It's never going to roll out to the government tenant for obvious reasons, for security and sharing and data crossing, and it's also never going to be in Germany. So if you are in a government tenant or you're in a German data center, you're not going to get either of those features. So a couple of caveats there, but any administrator can go in and easily turn it off, and so that has reached the fully launched phase. So anyone should have that now. So
sounds good.
Interesting. The next one is a fun one, Tom. So the next one is live events in Yammer. And what I think is interesting and exciting about this is it's a Yammer solution for live events, but it's really powered by Stream. So they're using Stream on the back end to host these live events. You're also going to start to see live events in Stream, and then live events even in Teams was announced just a little bit ago. So you're going to get these live events where you can go out and host them. Think of like town halls. Now, these aren't live events for anonymous access. These are live events for your internal company. So town hall events, team meetings, different things like that. And so I think it's a great solution there. So that is going into completely launched as well. So you should be able to do that now. We're not big Yammer users internally. I know there's a lot of organizations out there that use Yammer. We're just not one of them. Are you guys a Yammer user?
No, we were looking at trying to do like a proof of concept rollout on it. And unfortunately, due to other things, migration, which is going to be pretty much through the end of the year, they've decided that that's not something that they want to do right now. So if we do Yammer, will be sometime next year. So.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. The next one's pretty interesting as well, too, and this one is just in a rolling out phase. This is going to be Outlook for Windows, and it's going to have a coming soon preview pane. And so what they're trying to do is give you a set of features that's coming soon, and you can toggle off and on whether you want to preview them or not. And so that's kind of a little bit of an interesting thing. Maybe you won't be so shocked by changes that are coming. I had one of those shocking changes this week. I updated, got the little bar at the top that said time to update Office, and I had brand new icons and everything looked totally different, and I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. So I think it's to help some of those jarring things, and to also let people know what features are new. I mean, there's like 1,000,010 features inside of Outlook, and if you give me 1,011,000, I might miss the 11th new feature, right? So having this pane out there is just going to kind of be an easier way for people to see some of those new features that are coming.
Yeah, and I think that's as with everything, you've probably got some pros and cons there. I like the idea that they're actually making new features a little bit more obvious / in your face. I also like it because I will see that they're out there, and I can write Spark 1 tips or 1 Minute Office Magic tips on it, which is always a good thing. the fact that they can like toggle it on and on themselves, on and off themselves, I can see where, they're going to turn on something that causes some weird behavior and everybody's going to freak out who turned it on, and we're like, no, you need to turn it off, and the help desk is going to be swarmed.
Yeah, the help desk might struggle a little bit with that one. It would be a training thing there for sure.
But I do like the fact that they're doing
one. This one is actually launched. I said it was just rolling out, but it is classified as launched. So this one is out there now. Cool.
I may not see it because with the Outlook client, there's a good chance that we're on the 6-month thing, so it may still be a ways for us. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Yeah, me too for sure. All right, well, you want to talk us through the next one?
Yeah, Yammer Conversations web part for SharePoint to the person who doesn't use Yammer. Yes. I think that for, having the Yammer feed in a modern SharePoint online site, I like the integration possibilities there. And I think that, the more web parts you have, the better. So I think that's great. Again, it's not going to affect me because we're not doing anything with Yammer yet. But overall, I think that's a good move. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, I know a few people that are super excited about that one coming out. And so that is in a rolling out phase. So it went from development to in rolling out. So you'll see it maybe if you're in first release, but you might not get it for a little bit. Right. I think the next one is pretty interesting. And this is one that just got marked as in development. And so that is the Microsoft Search general availability. And so that was the big announcement last year at
that was huge.
Ignite, wasn't it? Or was it Ignite where they announced it? Anyway.
Yeah, it was like with the whole Bing integration and the whole 9 yards.
A single Microsoft Search experience. So I am super excited about that, seeing that's in development. That means we're going to start to see pieces of it. I love the holistic approach that we're taking with it. Like I'm saying that like I'm Microsoft, that they're taking with it. So I'm really, really excited about that. I think that's going to be some really great content that's coming out. And as soon as it hits the roadmap in development, that's going to be where you then start to see things rolling out and different things like that. So that's a good sign that we're seeing that there. And then there's just two more pieces that are there. One is for Microsoft Teams, the first line workers. So the licensing for first line workers, they have the praise features coming up. And that's where you can go into Teams and praise your coworkers.
Praise them, yes. Give them all praise. You're a team player.
Well, it's kind of fun, give badges and stuff like that. It's a neat way to recognize. I think it's really cool that it's in the tool that's there. So that's going to be rolling out to your first line workers. And our last one is something that's in development, and it's called Giving Your Organization More Transparency and Control over Microsoft 365 Cloud Connected Experiences for Office. And so this is a neat one because I think a lot of times organizations don't maybe want to send all of their diagnostic information to Microsoft. And so this is going to let them configure it. So it's going to let them say send this but not that, and different things there.
Yeah, because, I know that a lot of times something will happen. You'll get do you want to send this? And I'm always torn between, I think they need to know this kind of stuff because they can make changes. However, am I doing something that's going to be exposing PHI or something like this as part of the data dump that they're going to get? So I think that if that can be controlled now from a setting on an overall tenant level, I think that makes a whole lot more sense, and I think it's a good move. I think it gives your organizations a much better control over the kind of stuff that's going, even though I think it's probably a minimal concern. Still,
I think the keyword's transparency. They're going to let us know what they're getting in that, and so I think that's a great thing that is in development there. And believe it or not, Tom,
that is it.
A week.
I know.
So there's nothing else really on the roadmap. I'm not super surprised about that. Last week was MVP Summit, so a lot of Microsoft people were probably tied up doing other things anyway. I'm not totally surprised that other things aren't hitting the roadmap. It's also the beginning of the conference seasons, so we'll probably see after a couple of those big conferences, we'll see big weeks on the roadmap and different things that are coming. But All good stuff. Have you seen anything else kind of hitting out there that you want to mention today?
Of course, now you hit me with that one. I should have had it already up on my screen. I know that one of the things I tend to do is look at the different Microsoft Message Center things that are coming out, just so I kind of see some things that are going. A lot of these things we've talked about beforehand, like the Mailflow Insights. I know Adam talked about the fact that it can start to show you how your mail is flowing through your system, and so you can start to make changes there. So that one's out there. They mentioned the praise. Microsoft Forms Pro is apparently in preview now.
Oh yeah, I was able to go in just this afternoon and sign up. So there's a link that you need to sign up for. It's not something you automatically get into.
Right.
And then I can sign up for it. And quite honestly, I've played with it a little bit. It doesn't seem much different than Forms yet, but I'm like, that's at 2 minutes into it, and then I had to, go back to those regularly scheduled meetings. But I hope to get some more hands-on time with that too. But yeah, that's another good one that is out in what they're calling public preview. When you do sign up for it, it does show up in your Office 365 licensing. So one of my regularly scheduled meetings happened to be with my SharePoint admin, and we were working through a few different items, and we were checking my licensing inside of the Office 365 Admin Center, and it did say that I was using Forms Pro Preview, and he was like, "Well, you signed up for that quickly, didn't you?" And I was like, "Maybe."
Oh, what else did I see? Looks like they have a tasks pane now in Outlook on the web, which is nice because I know that it seemed like things were kind of split up on the web, and you didn't have that nice single pane of glass experience for the calendar and the email and the tasks like you're used to for the client side on it. There was also file restore for SharePoint and Microsoft Teams, which was basically file restores, complete self-service recovery solutions. Admin and end users can restore files from any point in time during the last 30 days. They've seen compromise. You can go back, do this, that, and the other thing. I was a little confused about that. It's in development, so no big thing there. But I was thinking, so is that 30 days after it leaves the recycle bins?
I think that one is just getting the Teams library experience to be the same library experience that you get in SharePoint. Being able to restore. So it's going to follow the same recycle bin settings that you have inside of a SharePoint document library, but currently the experience isn't seamless between the two. Like I have different options inside of SharePoint and I have different options inside of Teams, and I know they're trying to get it to come like that. So I think that's what that roadmap item
that makes sense.
Yeah.
The other one that I see, and I think we've talked about this in the past too, is the Smart Time suggestions for Outlook on the web.
I know, that's
which
so exciting.
I really want to see that one. I think that's going to be really cool because I know that there's the add-on that you can use, but trying to do add-ons and get permissions to do so, it's like
just easier if it's included.
Yeah, because I can make the case if it's included. That was most of what I had there. So, you're right. It's been a light.
That's okay,
a light roadmap here.
I mean, it's a quick week. There's still some good things in there. We're starting to see some exciting things hit the roadmap. So, as always, we will be back next week. Adam should be with us next week, I believe, and we can chat through, see what else has changed on the roadmap. And we certainly look forward to talking to everybody next week. Bye, guys.
Sounds good. Bye, everyone.